Hey y'all, hi. So I was a fool. I filmed this video that you just clicked on. I filmed it last week and I filmed the meat of the video. So me opening the products, applying to my face, giving you my first impressions. Then I filmed the outro and I totally forgot to come back and film the intro. Here's the story. Last year, I think it was around this time last year. Was it last year? What even is time? It could have been 2 years ago for all I know. In the past, at a past moment in my life, I filmed a video that was just me opening a box of makeup I had ordered from the luxury online makeup retailer Violet Grey. It was a really fun video to film. You really liked it, and some of the products from that video have sort of echoed through my channel and continued to be iconic pieces of makeup. And so it occurred to me last month that I should do it again. And that's what I did. I picked some products from Violet Grey, placed an order, and in this video, I opened the box and I tried them out. If this is your first time to my channel, then I'm so glad you clicked on this. Welcome. I'm Hannah. I really love makeup and I do enjoy reviewing makeup that's new to the market and giving like grounded, thorough, honest reviews of pieces of makeup. And I also try to make content that's not review content, just celebrating the makeup that I have to balance out the shopping-oriented content. So if that sounds good and if you enjoy this, I hope you'll subscribe. And now let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. All right, y'all, here it is. Unboxing ASMR. Oh my gosh, speaking of, can you even with these? This is a set of meticulously crafted nails from By L'Oreal. They are the highest quality press-on nails that I have ever seen in my life. I'm really feeling everything that I do with my hands right now. And what I'm now going to do with my hands is open this box. So here's what was inside. I'm already dropping things. This is a mono eyeshadow from YSL. It's the Sequin Crush Shadow, and I got it in the shade Explosive Brown. I feel like they could have workshopped that a little bit more. Explosive Brown, YSL. This actually might be the thing that I'm the most excited about. It is from Rouje, and here's the thing. When I did my first Violet Grey review, like just picking a couple of pieces from Violet Grey, unboxing, reviewing, just like I'm doing today, the absolute smash hit star, the runaway star of that video was the Rouge Powder Lip Palette. It is, I think, one of my favorite pieces of makeup I've ever reviewed, one of my favorite pieces of makeup that I have. I've actually been getting more use out of it lately. I've made an effort to keep it front and center, and I've just loved it every time I've worn it. It's such a unique formula. It's such beautiful packaging, special in every way. This isn't a new release from Rouje, but it is newly available on Violet Grey. And when it released on the Rouje website, I knew about it and I was so tempted to get it, but it just didn't really fit into my schedule for a review that month. Because it's now available on Violet Grey and I was planning this video, this is the perfect time for me to review it. I'm not going to open the box yet, but I know what the packaging looks like. I just can't wait. Have I even said what it is? It's a face palette, or I think probably like a face and lip palette from Rouje. And I think it's cream products, or maybe some hybrid products. We'll find out together. Oh my gosh, this packaging is really pretty. It's like Hermes orange. This is a lip treatment product from a brand called Colé, which is also newly available at Violet Grey. I don't think Colé is a new brand, but they just launched in Violet Grey. And it is a really cool brand. The products are specifically designed for melanin-rich skin. I, as you can see, am not blessed in that department, but this product, unlike most of them, is one that is versatile enough that I can review it. So I got it so that I could spotlight the brand. I believe that Violet Grey is carrying the entire line. There's some beautiful complexion products, and when I looked over the selection, I was like, this looks really cool. And of all of them, this looks like the product that I can review. I'm really happy to see Colé at Violet Grey and wanted to support that. And here we have probably the reason that I decided to do this now, because this video has been in the hopper shopper for a while. It's been on the to film in the near future list, but I was waiting to feel like I was in the right month to spend part of my monthly budget for review on this video. Last week, I became aware that this brand is available at Violet Grey. I don't think that I knew that they were launching at Violet Grey, and I saw that they were doing like a free case thing, a gift with purchase thing that made it much more realistic for me to include this brand in this review. The brand is La Bouche Rouge. It's one of those like incredibly alluring, beautifully marketed niche beauty brands. I mean, look at this. Look at this. The letterpress printing typography, the raised embossing. So the deal with La Bouche Rouge, they make these lip colors, lipsticks, and I think they specialize in like perfectly tinkered with red tones and neutral tones for the lips. And the deal is that the packaging, I believe, and I'll go ahead and open this because I don't want to give you false information. Yes, I was correct. The packaging is cardboard. Like the lipstick bullet packaging is cardboard. Oh, okay. So a little bit of feedback right off the bat. I did not turn this or anything, and the little tip of the lipstick was crushed inside the tube when I got it. Just a little bit. Obviously, it doesn't ruin the product, but it is like a user experience thing to be aware of. So yeah, the package that the lipstick is in is metal, and then it comes in this cardboard case, and it doesn't twist down below the height of the metal thing, which is probably why it was crushed against the lid. Maybe it was in the wrong side. Yeah, I think it was in the wrong side. It had been put into the cardboard case upside down, because if the base is put into the base, it really stays stuck in there. And the base had definitely been put into the cap because it's in the bottom of the base that the little bit of lipstick is crushed. So somebody assembled it wrong on the other side. Another thing to know about. If assembled properly, it does twist all the way down. It just acts like a normal lipstick bullet. This is how I was expecting it to be, but I had to flip it around to make it work properly. Going back to where I was before I opened it and realized that it had been put in there upside down. The lipstick bullet is paper, which I think is phenomenal, and it's very aesthetic. I don't feel like anything's been lost in the packaging, and you know, it's extremely sustainable. I absolutely love this idea, and I love the way that it's been executed. But the other thing that's really alluring about the brand is that they offer these paper packaged lipsticks, and then they also offer cases, like really luxurious refillable cases in leather and faux leather. When I was thinking about placing this order last week, they were doing a promotion. I think that La Bouche Rouge is actually doing this promotion across their platforms. It was a free case promotion, and the cases are much more expensive than the lipsticks. And this is the thing that had kept me from picking this up for review any other time, because it was just going to decimate my review budget in any given month to get one of these cases. But if I was going to do it, I was going to want to review a case. They really went to town on this. Joe has lately been saying that everything's going to town. He'll hear the birds chirping. He'll be like, those birds are really going to town. Sadie will be running up and down the stairs and he'll be like, Sadie's really going to town. Everything and everyone's going to town right now. And La Bouche Rouge undeniably went to town when they designed this. This is bananas. So I thought that this whole entire paper thing was going to go into this and it would be like a storage thing for it, but it's not. It's like an alternative to the paper one. Oh, you know what? That actually makes me feel less urgently as though the fancy case is like part of the experience. Because as a consumer, I would have been perfectly happy with this paper thing. I actually think that this is a little more me. Like it's a little bit more my speed. It feels more approachable, kind of friendlier. And it's quite sturdy, especially for being paper. So yeah, this is designed to magnetize in there and then just to be like a really, really fancy magnetic leather lipstick case. So I'll probably keep it in here, especially because the color that I chose is called Nude Brown. And I think that it was advertised as being a cold nude or like a cold nude brown. And I like that this is like a mahogany leather. But I am kind of sad that it means that I am not going to have this or that I have to choose between them because I love this. Okay, I'm really getting distracted by this one thing, which actually is probably going to be the last thing that I do. This is the order of events. I'm going to put the Colé thing on my lips because it is a gloss and also a treatment, and I want to end the video by applying this lipstick, but I want to review them both for you, or at least go through the experience of putting them both on. So I'm going to put this on. I'm going to use Explosive Brown by Yves Saint Laurent on my eyes, see how that goes, put on a little mascara, then we'll play with the Rouge face palette, and then we'll finish with the Bouche Rouge lipstick. What a day. What a video. What a job. So here's the branding. Colé is clean beauty made for melanin-rich skin. And here's the description of the product: a conditioning lip to oil gloss treatment that nourishes and protects the lips. Wow, it's really pretty. It's really pretty. And I feel like it wasn't wildly expensive. Maybe that's because I was shopping on Violet Grey, where everything is wildly expensive, and so it just felt really affordable compared to everything else. Of course, they sent the receipt without the prices on it, so you aren't reminded of how much you spent when you open the package. But I think that it was $20. Look at that beautiful color. I live for this color. I really like it. I'm gonna give you a hand swatch so you can see. I think sometimes it's hard to tell how sheer something actually is or can be when it's on someone's lips because most people's lips are pigmented. But you can see that the color is really rich and lovely, but it can be sheared out to be quite sheer. And the tint, the color of the tint is from my actual dreams. It's cooler toned, more of that actual neutral than Merit Taupe, for example. And I was kind of wondering how much this would be like the Merit lip oils and whether this could be an alternative to Merit Taupe. That's kind of what I was thinking. And I'll tell you, it is a much thicker, sturdier, more nourishing formula than the Merit lip oil. I mean, it is really present on my lips and it feels like it's doing on the level of like what a chapstick or lip sleeping treatment, like a lip mask would do to seal in the moisture of my lips. It's really, really got a presence, but it's not like built up a really thick goopy layer. It's sort of spread itself really evenly and in a natural way over the surface of my lips. It's just really, really sturdy. It's not going anywhere, but not sticky either. It feels sturdier and more like a treatment than the Fenty glosses, for example. Way sturdier and more like a treatment than the Merit ones, but more like a lip gloss than the Summer Fridays Cocoa Balm, which is probably the thing that I have that's the closest to this in color and everything. So there's a Summer Fridays product that is really showing you how much more cool toned the Colé treatment is. It's like a true brown rather than being a rose brown. And I love that about it. And I think you can probably see here also that it's glossier than the Summer Fridays. Summer Fridays is more of a hybrid product, more like a hybrid lip treatment chapstick type of thing with a glossy finish. What an absolute dream of a product. I can already tell that I'm going to be a little bit reluctant to take it off when it comes time to test the lipsticks, but I'll have it on for most of the video because I'm going to do that last. This is also a very elegant little package. It's the kind of thing that it makes me want to give one to all my friends. All right, we're really one for one over here. Moving on to the YSL Sequin Crush. Okay, you can see why I picked this even though it's called Explosive Brown. It is also like a really neutral taupey bronze, right? I'm always looking for these bronzes that don't lean orange, that don't lean rose. Wow, in person, it's kind of multi-dimensional. When I brought it up close, it almost looked like it had a blue shift from the side and the pigment's there. I question from this swatch how shiny it's really gonna be. It seems like a matte shadow with some glitter particles suspended in it, even though the product is called Sequin Crush. Yeah, it's really looking like matte with glitter and not like a metallic. But maybe there's something to be said for that. We're about to find out. Priming my eyes. Should we take the mirror cover off? I want to let the eye primer kind of set because I'm worried, given how sort of dry but pigmented it felt when I swatched it. And by dry, I don't necessarily mean like dusty. I mean, it just feels like a matte shadow with a slight glisten. Given that texture, I'm worried about going into it on really freshly primed eyes, so I'm giving them a second. And actually, kind of for the same reason, I'm not going to do what I usually do. I usually go in with a finger and tap and then blend. I'm just going to go right in with a brush and see what happens. I'm going to use this BK Beauty 211, which is from their Core Brush Expansion Pack. They just sent me the expansion pack to test, and it has the eye brushes in it are those like little precise brushes for detail work, which I love because of the shape of my eyes. Actually not bad, but not sequined. Not like earning its place as a standalone little mini mono shadow in a thing like this. In my opinion, in my life, in the context of my life and my makeup collection. I'm trying to make the other side match. Okay, here's my verdict after just doing that. I'm going to give you the verdict and then I'm going to finish the eye look. At least I think that this is my verdict. The pigment is there. It is really pigmented. It's pretty easy to manipulate, and I absolutely love the color. The color is something that's surprisingly hard to find in makeup, which is a truly cool toned bronze-ish brown that isn't extremely deep or extremely pale. That's kind of that in-between place where you can make a monochromatic eye look out of it. So there is no doubt that it's a very useful eyeshadow, and I actually suspect that I'm going to use it more than you might think I would, given the fact that I'm actually pretty disappointed in the texture, because the kind of thing that I like to use in the outer corner to darken my outer corner to make looks smokier. I'll often reach for palettes, reach for like a palette that's on my vanity just because it has a color like this in it, even if I'm making an eye look from a different palette. So I can actually see this kind of being like my right-hand man. And in that way, you know, they checked some boxes. However, it's totally not what I thought it was going to be. It's not earning its title of sequin eyeshadow, and it's definitely not earning its name of explosive brown. I was just expecting something with a lot of texture and something with a really unique celebratory holiday texture. I think that it's really failing at delivering on the promises of the listing, the promises of the advertising, but it has kind of failed up for me in my life because as a failed explosive brown sequin shadow, it actually is a really practical, cool-toned, grungy bronze matte that I'm going to end up using a lot. But that's kind of a coincidence, and I really don't think that it deserves any credit for that. I'm going to put it on the lower lash line. I'm using the pencil brush, the 210 from the same BK set. Now I'm going to use this slightly fluffier brush from the same set just to try to get a bit more diffused of a blend. Not adding eyeshadow, just blending what's already there. Yeah, the texture is a fail. It's not just that it's not a sequiny, creamy, textural delight like I thought it was going to be. It's actually a little bit dusty. It's just like a little bit hard to blend. And you know, I assume that it's kind of designed for really, really subtle washes of color, maybe even subtler than what I've done. And curiously, I've kind of been into that lately. There have been a lot of days when I've just tapped a fluffy brush into one of the Shiny Pat McGrath shadows in the Holiday Quint that I reviewed and washed such a light wash onto my lids that you can't really tell that I'm wearing eyeshadow. It's just like deepening the lids a little bit, almost staining them with color. Kind of like what I imagine the Chanel quads are designed for, the Tom Ford quads are designed for. I've just been getting into that look a lot. And I feel like this is probably designed a little more for that even than for this. And you know, I'll probably wear it that way. But I just wish that I was getting a little more satisfaction from the texture. All right, I'm going to finish the eye look with mascara. I am in the middle of testing some makeup from Make Beauty, and this is the new Make Beauty mascara lash prototype. I've actually only used it one time, so I'm still learning about it. And the first time I used it, it was really, really wet and kind of made my lashes stick together. So this time I'm wiping off the mascara brush, which I never do. Wiping off the brush was definitely the right call. I just did all of that, both eyes, upper and lower lashes, several coats without dipping the brush back in. Like I had dipped it in one time, wiped it off, and then I did all of my lashes on both eyes in one wand. That is a wildly pigmented, wildly wet mascara. And I will keep using it and bring you some actual developed final thoughts on it and several other pieces of Make Beauty makeup that I'm testing. Stay tuned on the channel if you want to see that. I feel like so far we have a hit and a fail. which is very exciting. This is what we call texture. This is what we call variety, a variety show. And now it is time for the product that I have been considering the main event. If you haven't seen this, if you don't know what the compact looks like the packaging of the product, prepare yourself. Oh my gosh. I love tortoiseshell. I'm just like a real torty bee over here. Part of me feels like if I designed makeup, this is what I would make it look like. I respond this way also to the Victoria Beckham packaging, which is like a version of tortoiseshell. Ooh, there's just something about it. It's so pretty. All right, let's see the inside. It's looking pretty pink to me in this moment. Like the 3 at the bottom are looking pretty pink. The 3 highlighter colors are looking amazing. Yeah, this looks really great. Like kind of a neutral, soft rose. The watermelon looks really alluring, but like the kind of thing I might not end up using as much as I think. And this looks like something I might end up using more than I think. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Oh yeah, that's also pretty. Okay, they're prettier than I was worried that they would be. Oh, and these, I keep forgetting they're cheek products. It's like a face palette. They can be used on the lips. They're really cheek products. So I can kind of use them all. Oh yeah, the pigment's there. Oh, maybe I should give you swatches like a real beauty guru first. Oh yeah, look at that pigment. Okay, so they are more neutral than I thought, right? More wearable, especially that center one. That is beautiful. Really, really pretty. They have that nice kind of formula that when you swatch it, it's like, it transfers completely onto the new surface. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like this. I'm going straight in with the brush on that center one and look at that. Look at it on the brush. I feel like we're going for khakis, like children running through the fjords, right? I think that's what we're doing. Oh yeah, this is very bright on me. It's bright on me, but it can be blended out to be translucent enough that the color can work. It also clearly can be built up enough to hold its own even more. I think the formula is quite versatile, but for me, it's definitely gonna be this color, right? That's the one I'm gonna like hit pan on that color. And the other two I'll probably occasionally dip into accent the cheeks or to use on my lips, but really this is the one for me. It's a surprisingly kind of desaturated rose. I'm pleased to find that color in here. What's going on with these? Yeah, they're kind of creams too. I just feel like I'm gonna destroy this palette. I feel like I'm gonna use it a lot. Oh, swatches. Sorry, those are wretched swatches. I'm overexcited. I don't really like the gold one for me, but the other two I really like. They're also not looking that shiny. You can see it's sort of a soft shine, which I actually also like. I feel like that's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice on like no makeup days. Let's see how they look. I gotta get these swatches off my arm. Okay, how should we do it? I love applying stuff like this with a brush, so I kind of want to do that. I want to do what I like doing. I'm going to go into the sort of really pale pink. The light is handling it really well. Like that looks good on camera, you know, it looks really shiny. But I'll say in person, this is a softer highlight than we were seeing like in the olden days on YouTube, you know? It's definitely not one of those hyper metallic reflective highlights. It's a soft, wearable, like blend into the skin type of thing, which I actually think if I were choosing, that's what I would choose. I'm not saying it's not shiny. I mean, clearly it's shiny. And I actually think that it's reflective enough that the shine particles in the product are softening the color of the blush, which for me is good. It makes this palette even more wearable. I'm gonna put a little bit of the rosy brown. Oh yeah, actually that's much more pigmented than I expected it to be. Wow, so this brown highlight is more pigmented and more cool toned on the skin than I was expecting it to be, which is great. That speaks to the versatility of this product. I think that it's gonna work for a lot of people. For me, it means I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful with that one, but I think it's especially going to be nice kind of as like a really glossy melt into the skin bronzer if I use it sparingly when I'm not combining it with a whole bunch of other things on my cheeks, but just as like a gloss over the cheeks. I look forward to trying it that way. Maybe even as a lip product too. But for now, I'm going to stop with the cheeks and I'm going to put a little more complexion product there because I think that those highlighting products crept in a little too far. I'm just using my NARS spot concealer because it's what I have down here. And the Make powder, again, is one of the products I'm testing. Yeah, I feel like the highlighters really caused the color to melt into the skin, and I'm very happy with this. I was really, really hoping that it would be like this. That it would be pigmented, but that I would be able to apply them in a way that makes it look like the skin is kind of glazed. Also, it feels like they're not greasy. You know what I mean? I don't think that they're gonna set completely like chemically, like Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Spotlight Wand, like turn into something dry, like a liquid eyeshadow that actually sets. Because they're in a pan like this, I wouldn't expect them to do that. But it does seem like they're doing that thing where they kind of reform on the cheek and they're much sturdier than just like pigment mixed with Vaseline, you know? I feel like this did deliver on what I was expecting it to do, and the packaging couldn't be better. As predicted, the moment has arrived and I'm feeling reluctant to wipe off the Ami Colé lip treatment. Sad. It is not goodbye, Ami Colé. It is à bientôt. But we had to do it in order to test this wild thing, La Bouche Rouge Serum Rouge Satin. So I think that they have a balm and then they also have a matte formula. And this is the standard lipstick formula, like the satin formula. But I didn't realize it was called Serum Lipstick Satin. In the shade, what's it called again? Nude Brown. Here we go. Oh, I'll show it to you. I did before, but you know, it makes me worried it's got more orange in it than I would like for it to have. Okay, right off the bat, lots of thoughts, lots of feelings. Let's address the formula first because I feel like that's the most widely relevant knowledge. The formula is beautiful. I understand why they are calling it Serum Rouge Satin because it's really thin. It's pigmented. There's no trouble transferring the pigment. I mean, I think you were able to see how quickly I got this. The fact that it's thin means that it becomes one with the lips more naturally. It adheres to their vermilion border more naturally, like the edge of the lip. So I didn't feel like I was sort of fighting with where the edge of the lipstick would be. I didn't tinker with the edge. I didn't buff it with my finger yet, and I feel like already the application is perfect. It just feels very luxury, and I get that. I'm kind of really into it at this moment. I was pleasantly surprised. I tend to kind of like matte formula lipsticks because I like how sturdy they feel. I don't like it when a lipstick is really gunky and slidey, and I just feel like it's all over the place, and it's hard to get a clean edge, and it's hard to get a diffused edge because it's so slippy. I tend to prefer more matte formulas because of that, and this, it applies in the way of the matte formulas that I prefer. There's like that control, that precision and control, and it feels like it's staying where I put it. And it also feels nourishing. I mean, my lips were probably pre-nourished by the Ami Colé. They're in a very nourished state right now, but I can tell that it's not going to be drying, you know? 10 out of 10 as far as I can tell just from this first impressions for the formula and, you know, of course, the packaging and everything. The color. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not a pretty color, okay? Because it's got two things going for it. It's a pretty color in isolation and it's not unflattering on me. A lot of lipsticks in this tone range are unflattering on me. They look kind of like this sickly orange. And this does not look like that. However, it's not nude brown. It's not neutral on me, right? And again, I'm very pale and I think there's a green undertone in my skin that kind of pushes lipsticks in that orange direction. It has been pushed in that direction, but it hasn't been pushed so far in that direction that it's gone to unflattering orange. So I appreciate that and I'll be able to wear it, but I'm not going to be reaching for it when I want to finish an otherwise kind of bolder, colorful look with a really, really wearable neutral nude brown, which is like what they promised me. I'm going to be reaching for it when I want to wear a really pretty, rich, kind of sunsetty pink. It's almost like NARS Catherine. I used to have this really pretty kind of watermelon coral lipstick called NARS Catherine. It's like a slightly, but it wasn't called NARS Catherine. It was a NARS lipstick called Catherine. And it was a really pretty lipstick in isolation. And then on me, it was quite bright and coral. I feel like this looks almost like NARS Catherine looked in isolation. So it's a nice thing to have, right? It's very wearable. It's just more saturated than I was expecting it to be. It's like a peach. It's like a really, really pretty peach. I just worry that I won't wear it because I'll either be wanting a really neutral, like less statement lip, like something like I had on before, or if I'm going to wear a statement lip, I'll want to wear a red because I love a red lipstick. I feel like no matter how pretty it is, I know myself and I'm worried that I just won't wear it enough to have like made it worth it if, for example, I had just been a consumer buying this because it was the makeup that I thought I wanted to wear. But what do you think of this lip color? Is it actually more neutral on me than I think, and I'm just not used to it because I don't usually wear this color? Or do you think it really looks like a peach lipstick or like a soft coral peach lipstick on me? Because that's what I feel like it looks like. Let's do a very quick roundup because I feel like you already know how I feel. Colé Lip Treatment Oil, absolutely stunning. YSL Sequin Crush Eyeshadow in Explosive Brown. What were they thinking? Like, it's dry, it's matte with just a couple flecks of gold glitter. Luckily, it is going to end up being bizarrely useful for me, but that doesn't mean that I think that it was a hit. Rouge La Palette Visage, or I guess it's La Fille en Rouge. I think that they changed the name of the makeup branch of the Rouge brand to Les Filles en Rouge. So the Les Filles en Rouge La Palette Visage, this would make a really good holiday gift. That's all I'm going to say. Widely appealing, very versatile formulas, luxuriously stunning packaging. This would make a very good gift. I feel really lucky to have it. And I think that it's partly just that it's very me. Like, this really suits me in particular. This is incredibly luxurious and special, arguably even more haute and designed feeling than this. But it feels almost too that for me, like wildly expensive sort of luxury for the sake of luxury. And of course it's special to have, but it's not giving me that same tingling in my loins that this is giving me. Like, this is just the one. For all that though, the formula is impeccable. The color is really pretty, even though it's not as neutral as I was hoping that it would be. And if you are in the habit of getting gifts that are this fancy for your friends or loved ones, or receiving gifts that are this fancy from your friends and loved ones, this would also make a really, really good gift. I think you probably can't go wrong with giving this to anyone, again, because the formula is so well executed. So that is it. What fun. My second ever Violet Grey haul, exploration of luxury makeup at Violet Grey. I feel like it's my second annual. Maybe this is something that I do annually. And I hope that you enjoyed going through this with me, seeing me unbox this, seeing me discover these products. I'll make absolute sure to come back in a future video and report back. I want to know if these two products, the Colé and the Rouge palette, are going to become beloved staples in my life over the next couple months, just as I currently suspect they're going to. I want to know how much I'm actually going to end up using this YSL Explosive Brown. And of course, I'm curious to know whether I will actually end up wearing this lipstick or if the color will deter me. So stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed, and don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.